Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 2 of the Netman Fishing Podcast. Tonight we're going to have a couple of kids from the Ohio State bass fishing team. President Austin Paulus and Hunter Kellogg, a couple upperclassmen with some experience. Going to talk about what college fishing is all about and what led them there, and maybe give some pointers on kids that are thinking about doing it. And it should be a good conversation. If you get a chance, give us a like, a comment, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and let's bring them in, Aaron. Hey, this should be fun. This is our second episode, and we wanted to bring you guys on, and um, like I texted you guys earlier today, just kind of give a little, have fun with it first and foremost, and uh, just ask you some questions that maybe a kid could relate to that's thinking about fishing in college, and talk about some of your experiences. Hunter, I don't know if you've met Aaron yet. You probably
How you doing,
saw him
Aaron?
at Columbus, but he's a good friend of mine, and obviously doing this with me, and he's my business partner on the Great Lakes Expo, and he is the official host of this podcast. So
So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So obviously the title of the podcast is Netman, which I'm sure both of you are familiar with what a netman is. But for those that are listening, Hunter's a great one. Well, for those that don't know what a netman is, it's basically the guy that doesn't catch the fish is responsible for grabbing the net and scooping up the fish as the guy reels it in. And so the purpose of this podcast um, is basically that, like, the guy with the net is supporting the guy that just hooked a fish. And so we want to support those within the fishing community, other businesses, whoever it is, you guys, and just kind of help you be successful in whatever it is that you guys are trying to accomplish. And so that's kind of the premise of the show. And so really, we just brought you guys on just to kind of get to know a little bit more about you guys, understand what the club's about, fishing at the college level, that sort of thing. Um, so I guess first question is, when you guys went off to college, it was a lot different than when I went off to college. I mean, we're talking a 20-year gap. So they didn't have the fishing programs like they did for you guys now back then. So when you guys went into college, did you guys know that you wanted to join the fishing team? Was it just something that you learned about as you were there and then joined? Kind of talk us through that.
Yeah, so I mean, for me personally, no, not necessarily. And all through high school, I just was an athlete, so I played sports year round. But then I got to college, and I was kind of like looking for some type of competitive thing to do. Obviously, going to Ohio State, ending athletic career. So I stumbled upon college fishing, and then my family fishes a lot of tournaments too. So it was kind of just a perfect avenue, and the club was just so welcoming, and it just pulled me in open arms. So it was just awesome. It was a perfect storm for it. So I certainly now wish that I would have started fishing competitive a little bit earlier, but awesome and excited to be a part of Ohio State bass fishing. So
Yeah, I'll go ahead and piggyback off you, Hunter. I went into college mid-COVID, so it was 2020 was my freshman year. I got a little victory lap going on, but that's all right. Um, I was working at Field and Stream, which was a local kind of a local tackle shop, part of Dick's. They're dying out right now. But I met Patrick there, who was current president of the team, and found out about the team that way. I was actually going to one of the branch campuses at that point, so I wasn't actually on main campus. I was toying with the idea of buying a boat at that time. Found out, hey, you buy a boat, you join the team, you automatically get a spot on the tournament team. So I was like, okay, why not? Yeah, bad decision, but that's all right. And one thing led to another. Started fishing tournaments there, and now we're here.
So how many guys are in the club?
Right now, I want to say we're around 30, 32,
roughly
33.
30 active members. Yep. So growing, I mean, exponentially. It was just when I came into school. I mean, it was probably 15. So we have a lot of active members right now. So it's really on the come up.
And so you said that you have a boat hunt, Austin, and that kind of automatically makes you on one of the guys that competes, right? So
Yeah.
how many guys
So
in the club have boats?
I think we're around 13 boats this year. That
Okay.
being said, not all the guys that have boats want to compete. There are some
Okay.
guys that just like fishing local stuff. There's a few guys that don't want to travel. They don't want to spend the money, which completely understandable, but they don't want to spend the money to travel 8 to 10 hours for any given tournament, any given week, and miss all the school. They just rather fish some of the local stuff, but still be a part of the team, and they could still try and qualify through Ohio Bass Nation and other tournaments like that. But we're not closed to anyone for any reason since we're a club at Ohio State.
Okay. So if I was on, I don't know, custodial team, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to be a part of you guys. I don't fish at all. I can just come and join the club as long as I'm a full time student, right?"
Yeah, so we do hold tryouts. Like if we have enough boaters to where we have too many or not enough, we have X amount of boaters and then more co-anglers, we'll host a tryout for something like that. But we also have general club and then our tournament club team. So the general club will do like we'll host events and they'll fish at like local streams and whatever they decide to do. But our tournament team specifically, if you're a co-angler, it can get competitive if we fall out of balance between co-anglers and boaters. So.
Nice. um, Take us back a little bit further. Like it sounds like you're to like we want to interview you, president, possibly future president, couple upperclassmen that probably didn't plan on fishing in college, but let's say we have a 13-year-old kid that's fishing the youth stuff and his like dream is to fish college. What advice would you have for them to like just be prepared, things that maybe you didn't expect, or kind of caught you by the wayside, or is it just super easy, just jump on and go with it?
It's easy and difficult at the same time. Getting on the team isn't necessarily hard because we are a club at Ohio State compared to some of the varsity programs where you get recruited and all that. That being said, you're going to get your teeth kicked in if you've never done this before. So, me and Hunter, more so me, I didn't really fish tournaments at all before I got to college. I went to my first tournament, had boat problems, and absolutely got my teeth kicked in. But to the guys that are fishing now, you already have a leg up on me compared to when I was. My fishing experience was pond hopping, riding your bike to the neighborhood over or whatever, and just fishing ponds. But if you can fish tournaments now, and the biggest thing is figuring out how to break down a new lake and a new body of water, that's something that we still struggle with today. I mean, this is my 5th year of college fishing. We're going to Bugs Island in North Carolina here at the beginning of May. Never been there before. So it's going to be real interesting to break down a massive lake in 2 days. So if they can learn how to notice patterns and how to effectively break down big bodies of water and make them a lot smaller, that's one piece of advice that I wish I had coming into it.
Let me take that question a step further. Let's take a kid like Owen, for example. Doesn't have an opportunity, doesn't have access to the boat, but he's an avid kayak fisherman and really into that. Do you think like with that, like do you think that kayak side is going to keep evolving and like create more opportunities for these college kids to compete in some way that may not have a bass boat?
I think it'll be huge. I mean, it's obviously a lot more affordable to get into. As you know, they have that Bassmaster College Trail, so I we have a lot of members on our team. I think we've had 4 or 5 people at least come up to us and say that they want to get signed up for that. And then our club's trying to figure out how much our funding we're going to be able to allocate to them for travel and stuff like that. But I think it's going to grow exponentially. I mean, the expenditures is just way less, and essentially you can still go fish the same bodies of water. And the way these kayaks are nowadays, they get around pretty quick. Owen said his kayak goes like 6, 7 miles an
Right.
hour. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's almost gotta create more opportunities just naturally. I mean, like, the lower unit Austin, like a college kid, you don't have that fear, when you're yakking, but, a lot of you kids are fortunate you had hardworking parents that have done well and can provide you the opportunity to have a nice boat and, uh, go to a nice college and things like that, but I am excited to see that, Bassmaster in particular is, offering a kayak deal. I think that's a step closer to maybe someday, you know, we hope, college fishing is recognized, by the NCAA or however you would put that. But I think it's progress. I just think it takes time.
So with that NCAA thing, Jesse, um, is that standard across the board? Like all college teams or clubs?
I don't even know if I said it right. Maybe the NCAA, maybe it's per school. You guys could elaborate more on that.
Some schools recognize their teams and fund it, so it would be a varsity club.
Okay.
We're just a club. It's still not recognized. It's not an NCAA sanctioned sport. Um, but I mean, they have two trails now because if you didn't sign up, I mean, you can ask Austin this. We'd host a party for like a sign up party for Bassmaster, because if you don't get your team signed up within a few minutes, you're out. You're on the wait list. So they now have two series, and they're full just about as fast. So the interest in college is higher than it's ever been. And these 250 boat fields get filled up within seconds. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely competitive. So the kayak thing, I mean, you can obviously probably fit. I don't know if you can fit more kayakers on the water, but it certainly allows for more opportunities as well, for more anglers to get going in college fishing. So
Well, I've seen some kayak tournaments that had 260 boat fields or
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, just with that naturally, uh, I mean, you can almost send twice as many guys.
Yeah. So is it like football out there? Like, is there some smack talk that goes on between schools on the water if you have a little running out there or what?
Like, do you guys try to sink the Michigan boats?
Well,
Does
that
Michigan
would
have a
require
team?
Michigan to show up. So
Maybe an ice fishing team.
You would
yeah,
think they would have
we've
a
not
team living where
we've
we're at.
not seen them. I know they got a team, but
They have a fly fishing team.
Fly fishing, exactly.
we're yet to see them. So
Oh
who
shoot.
knows?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's
No, not particularly. We don't
true.
really we don't beef too much on the water, unless somebody cuts you off in a proper way.
Oh
So.
yeah. Yeah. Dropping the rods in.
Yep, yep.
That's cool.
Oh shoot.
So, what about I had a chance as a sponsor, and Aaron's a sponsor as well with the expo to kind of hang out with you guys after hours up there and kind of see you in your natural college atmosphere. I definitely see some in in team smack talk going on. How serious do the rivalries get inter squad there? Is it just nonstop trash talking going on if someone outfishes somebody?
I
I
mean,
would
to an
like to think it's
extent,
all love,
yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
there may be some people that don't treat it as that. But I mean, at the end of the day, for the state championship, we always try to tell people like you are opponents more than anything. But once we go out of state and stuff, it's much more a team atmosphere. We're all visiting the same lake as long as Ohio State's doing well. I'd rather 6, 7 teams be in the top 100 than one be in the top 20 and then the rest be at the bottom of the leaderboard. So we definitely like to encourage some teamwork at the out of state events, but the trash talk may happen from time to time. Just try to keep it all.
Do you guys use that to your advantage, just sending multiple boats to help kind of break down the lake and sharing information?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Like for Bugs Island, I know we plan on all traveling together just to make sure everyone gets there safe. But once we get there, our plan right now is just day one, everyone's going to get a different sector of the lake. Someone's going to take northeast, someone will take northwest, and so on like that. And you'll just run it for the day. And whatever you find out, whether that is just wasted body of water or you got a pattern going there that people can try and replicate in different areas, we try and share that. I mean, we won't share specific spots where we're catching fish. It's really tough to catch someone else's fish. But at the end of the day, like Hunter said, we're all trying to do well. It's a new body of water. And if we have an advantage of having 2 to 7 boats there, I mean, why wouldn't you take that?
Sure. Now, when you guys sign up, how many boats? Is there like a limit on how many you can get on the roster, or is it just as many as you can get before the time's up?
No, Bassmaster, they just have their opening time, and if you get signed up, we sign up as many people as we're able to, that are there and ready to sign up. But I think we have 6, maybe 7 boats going to this Bugs Island tournament there in North Carolina, and then I know we have just about as many going to Chickamauga later in the year. So then we got a couple other events, but they don't cap it at a certain amount for the club. So, but some of these like Auburn, I know I've seen like 15, 20 boats there for them. So it happens from time to time where there'll be a bunch from a certain school. So
Any experience at all on any of these lakes for you guys? Or like, how's the information rules work in college fishing and all of that? Is it kind of just no limits?
yeah, I don't know what the exact rule book is necessarily. I know you can't obviously can't talk to somebody while you're in a tournament.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just your typical. There's so much now. I mean,
Oh
there
yeah.
was a Bassmaster Open event at Bugs Island 2 years ago, the same exact time as it will be this year for us. So it's like you kind of get an idea of what's going on a little bit. I try not to watch too much because I kind of want to go into it with an open mind anyway. But yeah, you can. A lot of research can happen, just the same as any other circuit, I guess. But um, I don't think there's a limit on talking to guides, or if there's an off limits period. Austin may know better than I, but I don't do it, so I wouldn't know. But
Yeah, we're not supposed to receive information from any guides there. There's been cases and this is way back, but there's been cases where people will hire a guide the week before and then they'll be running the same stuff. So there's an off limits period the week leading up to the tournament. So you can get down there 2 weeks ahead of time and pre practice, but the week leading up to the tournament, there's an off limits, and then we get 3 official days of practice. So no college boats can be on before that time. But during our practice time, we can break down the lake, but can't hire a guide, can't supposedly talk to a guide, and the only way to police that is just really the honor system,
Yeah.
unless
I
they
tell
want
you
to
what, I love
protect.
that 3 practice days because at 5 practice days, that's a lot of school to miss. Also, a lot of
Yeah,
money.
yeah, that it
Three
is.
practice days is kind of nice. I do like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I know you guys raise some funds, but like, how do you guys afford to travel out of state? Because like some of them are pretty far away, and if you're going for 5, 6 days for practice and tournament, I mean
Oh
that
yeah,
adds up quick.
yeah. I'm working 2 jobs at the moment. I'm doing some contracting that I've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years, and bartending as well. So days and nights, and it all goes to one place, and it's crazy how fast that bank account drains.
the club gives. So what we try to do is the club is we have to make sure we have cash flow, obviously, but we try to give as much as we can to each team while still maintaining enough to have our general club functioning funding. But and then after that amount, the boater and co-angler typically split it 50-50. Sometimes a co-angler will buy you a lunch or something, but yeah, it's usually we split it 50-50, and it is rough, but I mean, I fish probably 3 or 4 tournaments a year out of state. So
Yeah.
I guess just don't go to concerts and do what you love. Spend your money on what you really like to do. So
Yeah. Well, I got a news flash for you. It doesn't get any better as you get
I
older.
guarantee it.
Probably gets worse, but you guys are getting a good education. You'll be successful and be able to afford to chase your dreams or hobbies or whatever you guys want to call them. I know I've talked to each of you a little bit on like the professional aspect of it. I think Austin, you said you wanted to get into project management, and Hunter wants to work in the medical field, kind of, working towards some goals there. Um, take your kid on the opposite end of that spectrum that like dreams of, graduating college and going straight to fishing the Bassmaster Opens. Maybe trying to pursue a career in fishing. How many kids are there on a team of 30 kids that have that dream? I mean, I know the cream usually rises to the top, and you gotta be an absolute stud probably, and I'm sure you guys kinda keep each other in check as well, but, are there any kids that are on the team that, like, aspire to, continue on into the fishing
I
world?
mean, I'm sure whether they say it or not, all 33 guys on the team have that dream. Who doesn't want to keep fishing every day of their life? But
Yeah,
at this
right.
moment in time, there's maybe 2 I can think off the top of my head that have that dream and have been taking steps to work towards that. Excuse me, coming off a cold. Um, but yeah, it's like you said, you gotta be an absolute stud, and then more so than just the fishing nowadays, it's your social media presence, it's your marketing of yourself, marketing of other people's products. It's so much more than just fishing now.
Yeah. Does
We do have a lot of guys, I think, that do want to go something into fishing, maybe not professional fishing, but kind of
yeah.
outdoors stuff like that.
That
So
that's what I was gonna ask next, Hunter. Like, do the organizations I've heard of kids, kids like you guys, good heads on your shoulders and kinda leaders naturally. Like, I've heard of organizations kinda scooping them up or maybe putting them on a lead with Carhartt or some sponsor they work with. I mean, have you heard of things like that happening or seen it happen?
we had a guy come by the booth from ODNR saying they don't have a lot of guys in their fishing sector that really tournament fish, and he was wanting to. So we're actually going to have him come to one of our meetings and talk to the club because I know we have a couple of our members that are that's kind of the career they're pursuing. So that could certainly be a lead for them in their professional life. We don't. I mean, other than that, I don't know of any that we've specific. I know of a couple guys. Matt Coffin, he was the president a few years ago. He works at Camus Boats. Or did he
Yeah,
formerly work at
formerly.
Camus Boats? Where's he at now?
He's with a startup company at the
Yeah.
moment. Can't really say much about it.
And then Patrick Henry, he's at Boat Things, and so
Yeah,
we have certainly have members that move on to working somewhere in the fishing industry, and local and state talent picks them up to be on their crews.
And
So
I think
for
kind of what
sure.
you were saying there,
But
Jesse. One of my buddies out of Penn State, he's actually the current president for Penn State's team. He has been shooting videos for a while, and he started working with Luz pretty heavily, doing some of their marketing stuff. And he just moved down to South Carolina. I want to say continue with Luz, but do a lot of their video making and editing for them.
nice.
It's really
Nice.
cool to see how, like, just because you're fishing at the college level doesn't mean you necessarily want to go into the industry. Because you're going into like construction and medical fields. But that doesn't mean you're just going to hang up the boat keys when you're done, right? Like, what do you guys plan to do
I
after
mean,
that?
if I could figure out how to make it in the fishing
yeah,
industry, I still would. I still got to put some pieces together, I guess, of that puzzle. Um, but no, I mean, fish some open tournaments, maybe even hop in a Bassmaster Open or two. We'll see how the cards fall for that, but at least stay in the local stuff and keep doing what I'm doing to an extent now. I mean, getting to travel the country and fish some of these lakes, I wouldn't, even though I don't have any money, still wouldn't trade it for the world.
yeah. I mean, I guess my first goal is financial freedom. So then after that,
Good one.
we'll chase whatever we need to do. So, but I mean, I enjoy fishing with my brother, my dad, and all in every tournament. So if that's the extent of my fishing days, then that'll be satisfactory for me.
Yeah,
But if it's more than that, then it'll be more than that. But I guess we'll just take it one day at a time after we make some money. So
yeah. No, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like those are, those are realistic things. We've all been 21, 22 years old and broke, and uh, that's probably the biggest advice I can give you from a guy that's pushing 40. Get your money right. Keep your priorities in line for, your first 5 years or so out of school, and uh, you got a long time to enjoy it. So, which I know you guys are smart kids, you will, but you got plenty of time. It'll it'll all work out.
Are you about to hop in the opens?
Me? Phew.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still trying to get my money right.
It never ends, huh?
No, no, no. Yeah, I'm giving you advice from lessons learned, man.
Oh, shoot.
That the kids come and small business. Being in small business has made me a very frugal person. I used to blow a lot more money when I worked the 9 to 5 because I knew a steady paycheck was coming. But the reality of it is now, you know, if I walk outside tomorrow and fall and break my arm in 3 places, like paychecks aren't going to be coming for a month or two, or at least as good as they could be. So, and you try to prepare and have a little nest egg saved back, but um, that's just you're just you're careful. I'm trying to get my kids to a certain age, I think, and I'll probably jump back into some bigger stuff. Just uh, and with your dad, what how he always said he was going to go for it when you guys got older. Like you have kids and you make them your number one priority for a while there.
I'll put
So
food on
I
the
mean,
table.
yeah, forever, I guess, not for a while, but it's all good. I'm thoroughly just trying to enjoy still being able to fish with dad and stuff. So we'll be able to play around here.
That's
Well,
uh that's not to be taken for granted. I mean,
no,
I don't,
no,
you never know. So, yep,
yeah. I'm gonna wait about 5 more years till all you kids start making good money, and then we'll go do it all together.
Sounds good to
heck
me.
yeah.
All right.
So, do you two fish together or do you fish against each other?
Yeah, we're separate. So we're both our own boaters. So I know his partner is his younger brother. And then I'm actually fishing with Owen. You know Owen?
Yep.
Yep. So this year, so yep, we'll be a team this year. But yeah, we got some good groups all around the club. So it should be. We try to do matchmaking to people that'll get along for 8 hours. So
So you don't just automatically like pair up a freshman and be like, "Hey, you're the designated net man."
I mean, pretty much, we'll give him a Blue Rock Netman hat.
Oh Lord,
No,
yeah.
there's one pairing on our team that the boater really gets after him. Spencer. He tells
Oh,
Colton
buddy.
all the time. He says, "Show me that net man technique. Lift with your legs, not your arms."
Makes him
Yeah.
sit there in the back of the boat and practice.
Oh
Oh
shoot! Which,
man,
to be fair, Colton's a good fisherman, just for the record. But
yeah,
um,
I'm sure the inner squad smack talk. I don't know the kid's name, but there was 2 groups of kids, and they were obviously all partners. But one of them got shellacked pretty bad down in Okeechobee compared to the other, and they walked in the booth, and the one said, "Oh, you're the best fisherman on it." Just kind of just bowing to him, in his sarcasm, and I had to ask what was going on. So yeah, it's that's
Yep.
good. That's fun.
That's our freshman team right there. They're so they were
They're
they
not
were giving
lacking
tradition of
confidence,
excellence.
are they?
they were giving Spencer some gruff. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So where are you guys going next? You told us.
Bugs
Uh,
Island, there in North Carolina. I hear it's pretty good. So, it's not been on the national trail very often, but I'm
Sounds like a
certainly excited to go there.
chatterbait place to me.
It
Just
looked
sounds
like
like
it.
a
yeah, from
chatterbait
what
place.
I understand, you're gonna have to weed through quite a few 12 inchers.
Gotcha. So, do you guys set a do you guys know what you're fishing? you know, as of like right now, or do you kind of just jump in ones as you can afford them and back out, or how's that all work, like structure wise?
The big ones, kind of when the schedule gets dropped. So for Bassmaster, like we said, if you don't get registered in the first 2 minutes, I'd say, of registration opening, you're probably not going to fish them. So those ones you kind of know. But anything for MLF or MCBC or any grassroots league around us, you can register for those the night before, and they don't fill up. I mean, they'll get. I've fished a couple MLF tournaments that have been 70 boats, but they are they get permits for 150. So I've not had any issues getting into any of those. But those ones, if you and your partner decide that 2 weeks out you got the money for it and you want to go do it, be my guest, go do it.
So how many
Gotcha.
local events are you guys typically doing in a year?
For college, there's really not much. There's the state championship, and is that all there is in the state?
In the state, yes, unless we do something with MCBC this year.
Yeah, so MCBC, that's the Mid Northern College Bass Coalition.
Yep,
Um, that was kind of founded by a bunch of Midwestern schools a few years ago because there was no northern events. So I mean they're smaller tournaments, 10 to 20 boats, but I mean it's certainly, I mean it's a good time. So, and it's, I mean there's some stout competition. So I guess that's the closest thing to local. Most local things I fish though aren't necessarily college, but I mean that's, I don't know how much of a avenue there is for that because there's not very many Ohio college teams. There's us, there's Rio Grande, Bowling Green, maybe.
at state.
I mean, there's not many. So the state championships usually 14 boats, 15 boats. So relatively small field. So
That's
um,
good odds to call yourself a state champ.
there you go.
And that
So
is a qualifying event for Bassmaster,
that
but you
is,
don't
yeah.
win it.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
So
Kobe
if
won
you
that at
win that,
Rocky Fort.
Yeah. Then
yep,
we actually had a team there win it last year at Rocky Fort. They had
yep,
Nice.
like, it was Braden Cox and Joel Barrelsman, and they had 29 pounds for 2 days. So they tore them up.
Yeah,
They had 17 and a half on day two.
nice,
So in the middle
nice.
of June. So I'd say that was pretty solid.
That place has got them, dude. It
Yeah, it does. They
does.
got bigs in there. There's bigs in there for sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a great lake for sure.
yeah.
There's only 2 or 3 lakes in Ohio that'll put out bags like that all summer and
Yeah.
just keep taking a beating every weekend. So, uh,
Yeah, Ohio Lakes, the most pressured lakes, got to be close to the most pressured in America. We
yeah,
beat them up.
yeah, they do, man. They get pounded.
Yeah.
But, so
So how do you guys balance school and fishing? Is there a balance, or you just grind and keep going?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a grind. I kind of set a grade point for myself. If I'm not in the A category or at least achievable A minus, I'm probably gonna have to skip out on fishing. I definitely would skip a tournament to get the grades right. I'm not gonna miss any exams or anything for that. But if I typically have it in good order, I'll definitely let my teachers know I'll be back in a week. So, and they're usually pretty good about it. It is excused, so we give our guys, their excused absence forms, and they accommodate pretty well. They do a good job, but yeah, I make sure school's first anyway. So
well, I'm glad going to the medical field you have that thought process. But for the rest of
Austin,
us,
C's get degrees.
for the rest of us, he
for the rest
says.
of us,
Sorry about your appendix. I have a tournament to go fish.
I think the quote goes, "We ain't here to play school." So
It's cool.
don't get me wrong, all of our affairs are in order. I do just fine. All my assignments get turned in. But if I'm scheduled to go to a tournament, you can bet your ass I'm going to be there.
That's,
Nice, nice.
Now, are you just going into the medical industry? You looking to go to medical school? Like, where are you at, Hunter?
yeah. I'm about to take the MCAT here shortly, and then either have to decide to go to med school or there's a few other avenues that split off right from there. Really, just a time thing. Med school, going to be a doctor, that'll be 12 years, and then your PAs, your your anesthesia assistants as 6 years. So kind of got to debate that. So
We got
definitely biding my time till I have to make a decision. But you got to take the MCAT first anyway. So
this
we'll
poor kid on a podcast. So he's trying to
yeah,
study for the
for real.
MCAT here. Sorry, Hunter.
Oh, she.
Just ripping you. Where would you guys love to see just like your club or like college fishing in general be like in 5 years? Uh, can it get better? Like, is there progress to be made?
In my opinion, yeah, I mean, lots of progress could happen as soon as it becomes an NCAA sport. Scholarships are awarded, so that would be huge. I mean, if you could go to school on a free ride for fishing, that would be unbelievable. Um, if that doesn't happen, us as a club, I mean, when we came into our leadership roles at a high or for this club, we were just sitting there talking about our goals at the beginning of the year, and I mean, our goal is to leave it better than we found it, which is cliche, but um, giving teams a little bit of financial relief for some of these long distance tournaments is really important, and we've 3x the amount that we've given teams in the last year, and we're going to try to continue to do that. I mean, ideally, even if it doesn't become a collegiate sport and the scholarships aren't awarded, we'd like to send teams for free to some of these events, just on the club, and that takes work from everybody. But our guys have done an unbelievable job this year helping us fundraise, and we just want to give everything we get back to the club. So it's certainly been good this year, but it can obviously get better with more hard work.
So how do you guys raise funds? I know you have some sponsors, and the Great Lakes Fishing Expo is one of them. But what are some other ways that you guys kind of raise those funds, and how can listeners participate in helping with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, the Great Lakes Expo, along with the Columbus Expo, we sell our merchandise, like you see me wearing at the moment. Um, we sell that there. Along with that, we also have a website that has all of our Ohio State bass merchandise on it. It's linked in our Instagram and Facebook bios. And if you can't find that, just reach out to us through email, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll make sure you get where you need to be. But on top of that, we also do what we call a Buckeye Battle every year, and that's just an open tournament. This year we're looking for two. We're waiting on confirmation from the DNR for our second date. But for
Seneca was just approved today. I just
Yeah, and
talked to
I was gonna say,
Nice.
I know Seneca got approved. We're working on the
Seneca.
rest
Nice.
of the
Yeah,
date.
yep.
So Seneca, we're gonna be fishing Lake Seneca May 10th, and that's actually titled up by our great sponsor in Blue Rock.
There we
So
go.
that's an open tournament, and that'll be a fundraising tournament. So whatever proceeds we take from that will go back to the club. Obviously, we'll still have a pretty good sized payout at that tournament. So
Yeah.
still come fish it. You can have a good
I'm
payday.
excited about that one. I might go right to the garage after this and start tying
Seneca
some
legend,
baits
I hear.
on. Yeah.
Dad's been hyping you up. Dad's been hyping. He said he
No,
don't lose a tournament on
I
Seneca.
need your dad to be just with me every day.
And
He makes
your
me feel
confidence will be
good.
sky high.
Yeah,
I
he's
might just put a
he's
little side pot on that one and just put a little money on
Confidence
his.
will be
nah,
sky high.
trust me. I'm going around the troops, and those Guernsey County boys will show up over there. That they'll catch them. It'll take an impressive bag to win that tournament, but I'm going to be a big part in just helping make it a good event. So
No, we're thrilled to
I,
go there. Our club's never been there, so it's a new place with a lot of
yeah,
new
fun
people
little
trying to
lake.
get involved. And
Aaron's done well
obviously,
there
we're
too.
thankful for you to be title sponsoring it. I think it could be a really good event. So
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to go back before I lose my train of thought completely. When we were talking about where you could see the club being in 5 years, um, I want to know like what in your opinion is holding the NCAA back from recognizing it? Is it a group of people? Is it just fishing is still just seen as a hillbilly sport that nobody cares about? Is it just the wrong, the wrong? Is it political? Like, what's the deal with it all, in your
I mean,
opinion?
I
I
think it's a
don't know
mix
for
of everything you said there. Sorry, Hunter, I didn't mean to cut you off there,
sure.
bud. Um, for the political aspect, I mean, you always have the people that are accusing us of hurting animals, but that part I don't think is really talked about anymore today. I don't think that's something we need to be concerned with. I think the biggest thing really is just lack of exposure. I mean, Bassmaster does pretty well and MLF does pretty well at trying to get people to watch their events, but it's tough for the NCAA to stream an 8-hour event of just watching people flip a jig or stare at their live scope screen or whatever have you. Um, it's hard for them to get engagement, and in turn, everything's a business. Hard for them to make any money off of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd
say
say
it's also volume. I mean, you have 250 boats at a national tournament. That seems like a lot to us who fish, but I mean, you look at 250 times two, that's 500 anglers versus a football team. You got 50 plus. I mean, 80 plus guys on a team. So it's got to be volume at some point for NCAA to sponsor that. I mean, but you look around, you have rowing teams. So I don't know, and I'm not hitting on
Yeah.
anybody listening who's a
Mm,
rower, but I mean, it's not a hugely involved sport as well. So I don't know.
yeah. I
Not
think
exactly
it's
sure.
just it's eventually hopefully the right person gets in the right administrative position at the right place and like can make a push to get this all recognized like it should be. Like you said, there's things that are um, things need to happen. Like it needs to keep evolving, and it's a great sport. It pumps out great kids into the workforce. Like most of these kids come from good hardworking families. It's just because it's not a cheap thing to do, but uh, I think Austin kind of hit on it there. I don't think it creates enough revenue for a college to really. Sadly, a lot of it's about money. You fill the horseshoe with fans. That's millions and tens of millions of dollars coming in, and but it would be cool to get NIL money to fish, wouldn't
oh, that'd be awesome.
it?
Hell, I might have to take a 6 year if that happens.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Nah, we can all dream. Like it'll happen. I just think it takes time and the right things will fall into place eventually. But because I
But
do know. Go ahead.
I think with the huge push of the high school programs too, I think that'll help solidify the college level in being more of a recognized sport. Because as kids come up and now you can be recruited if you're doing well in those circuits, and I still think that's a long way off, but it's at least a path to the next level.
It could be kayak. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we'll be sitting here interviewing some kids from that are our age and your guys' position. Well, the same way you guys say you wish you would have had college fishing around, we'll be saying we wish we had NIL around. So
Yeah.
hopefully it evolves in that direction. But it certainly could be kayak. That would be much more
It
affordable for
it it
universities.
could be kayak. It
Who
absolutely
knows?
could. And I mean, one thing's a fact, like tournament fishing and fishing in general isn't going anywhere, especially like since COVID. It's just exploded. I mean, COVID was a blessing for my business, sadly. I mean, the whole outdoors industry is like a steroid shot in the arm, and it, it hasn't really slowed down. I mean, things have even gotten more expensive and inflation and all that, but like more people are still flooding to the outdoors. So I I think it just takes time. I really do. I'm confident it'll happen now.
COVID was a blessing in a lot of ways. We got to slow down and enjoy good family time. We fished a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was obviously awful, but it was
Yeah, for sure. I
every
mean,
bad thing certainly has a good
It
aspect
it
of.
it hurt. It just affected so many people in so many
Oh
different
yeah, it's
ways. I
awful,
mean,
awful. But
we all knew somebody or several people that died, unfortunately, and businesses that were negatively affected. And the reason I call it a blessing is because I had just told my county manager at my day job 3 weeks prior to like the national mandates dropping, and, like, I thought I just made, like, the worst decision of my life. I had just quit my job, and, here we go. I'm an idiot, and it just our sales just kind of doubled that year on the fishing bait side of things, and we've just been making it work ever since. So it was weird. I mean, it hurt a lot of businesses, it helped a lot of businesses, but I was just very fortunate that I made it through there safely. So enough about me.
Well, I mean, we're coming up on an hour, guys. But I know Jesse probably feels the same way. We're just excited to see what you guys are doing um, in the industry at Ohio State, in the fishing world. Really, just watching the next generation come up and compete and have success. Um, and so, I mean, if there's anything that we can do to help you guys in that endeavor, or I mean, I can't pass your MCAT for you, um, but on the fishing side, like we're just really proud of what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are great representatives of the team, and like you guys are the people that need to be in place to eventually get it recognized, like it should be. So love supporting you guys. Bunch of good kids, not just you. Austin and down at Rio and all these kids we'll have on here eventually at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, just I I still feel like I'm your age, even though I'm getting old. So uh, I
Still look
just,
like it.
well,
That's what Phil would say.
I'm like a fine wine. I'm like a fine
Mhm.
wine.
That's right.
So no, but in all seriousness, though, you guys are doing a great job, and like, the extra revenue you're pulling in this year, and all that doesn't just happen by accident. You're easy kids to support, and just kind of how we all linked up. Like, I just felt the need and talked to Aaron, and we wanted to help out, and I'm sure that's been the same with a lot of people. So there you go. There's your flowers.
Well, we appreciate it and can't do what we do without sponsors like you guys. So seriously, it means the world to us, and we're gonna do everything we can to try and make you feel like we've earned half of what you guys gave us. So
Yeah. Yeah. I I don't know. Keep passing it on to the kids. That's what I hope a couple, younger kids can watch this and kind of you think about it as a 12, 13-year-old kid that's, into fishing, and think about like fishing in college and stuff at that age, it's super intimidating. So maybe something like this can, help them navigate into that a little easier. That's kind of what my goal was with having you guys on here. I don't know how good of a job me and Aaron did at kind of asking the right questions. We're new at this too, but I think we did all right.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like we said earlier, I honestly stumbled on it. I didn't know it was a thing and until I was in it. So if I can figure it out, then someone that's looking ahead towards it now already, well, they got a better shot than I do. So
Well, cool. Austin, Hunter, thanks for coming on, and we look forward to beating up on you a little bit down at Seneca. And until then, study hard, I guess.
Awesome. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us on.
so
Yeah.
much, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
We want to thank everyone that tuned into this episode. Please make sure you follow us so you can hear more episodes just like this one.